How about now? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Just been sitting here talking to myself about nothing. Appears to be working out. Let's see, wait for confirmation there. Alright, now we're getting some controls there. There we go. Mr. Scott, can you hear me? How you doing, buddy? Two good starts. Let's get the rotor RPM up and we can turn off the APU. So the fans came on, that means the generators are working. We can turn our audio warning back on and we can kill the APU. Been flying mostly the Huey, so let's see if I can adjust here. So with the Huey, the power, once we bring the collective in, it's back into the left with left pedal. But for this, the rotors turn the opposite direction, so it's going to be exactly the opposite. So back into the right, trim that there, and it's going to be about right pedal for takeoff there. No idea what the wind's doing. It doesn't matter. I'm going to send it anyway. So I think there's 4 or 5, I think it's 4. There's 4 teams of troops out in the city somewhere we're going to go find. Fuel, we're at like 70%. Let's go. There we go. Got stability augmentation on. I forgot this thing has wheels. I could actually taxi this on the ground. Hover taxi is good practice though. Give me like a feel for the helicopter again. I haven't flown this thing in a minute. It is, as I was saying, on sale. Right now there's a DCS Christmas sale going on. Everything's like between 30 and 50% off, except for I think some of the new map, like Syria, is not on sale. But this is on sale. The Super Carrier, the F-18, pretty much all the big modules are on sale right now. For Christmas. There, you get some audio. Sorry about that. I never, ever remember to check that stuff before I start, and then I'm like sitting here talking to myself for 10 minutes before I realize that no one can hear me or anything. Silent movie. Definitely not the kind of movie that you would want to watch. Not really much story going on here. We're gonna go pick up some troops that are surrounded by insurgents. I think they're just saying 4 or 5 groups we're gonna go pick up and bring back to FOB, and then we'll come back here. He might be in the back, dude. I don't know. Can't see back there because our engineer buddy here blocking the doorway. Also, don't know if you guys seen Eagle Dynamics tease the AH-64 Longbow Apache as the new module coming, which is pretty sweet. Looks like we're going to take off with a tailwind. Actually, plenty of room this way. Just use the threshold. See ya. Oh yeah, man, I haven't talked to you since the snowstorm. You guys are expecting to get like a foot or something, weren't you? I told you, I don't do cold weather. I don't do snow. Not for me. You're up near New Jersey? Or are you actually in New York? Turn on our door gunner here. 4? There we go, return fire. Oh yeah, Long Island. Yeah, I got a buddy up there. His dad was, or his stepdad was supposed to have surgery on Thursday or something, and they've been putting it off because of coronavirus, and he was worried that they're going to be able to do it, because finally when they scheduled after the doctors were all ready and everything, like, oh yeah, I've got this nor'easter coming in. Is Republic a municipal airport? I don't think I've heard of it. He got the surgery done. They're good. He's good. Everything's fine. Going towards that smoke out there on the horizon. How does it look in 2020? Is 2020 still unplayable for you? And how long is the runway? Now's the time to get into DCS, bud. Winter sale going on. Also, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's like this on Steam, but I know that if you have the actual DCS launcher, a lot of them are free to play for a while. So you can, I don't know how long it's going to last, probably till the end of the sale, but you'd have, you know, a few days to play around with whatever module you wanted. Poor or not. I'm poor too, that's why I'm holding off. Get some more friends with the Huey module. One of my friends got it and we actually tried out the multi-crew with it the other day. Like, so he was in the left seat controlling the forward-mounted miniguns. Works pretty good. Smooth sailing up here. Oh, I see tracers. Sure where they came from. First group of guys somewhere near that column of smoke at 12 o'clock. This is just this giant, like, helicopter playground map. There's tons of stuff for helicopters to do in here, so I'm just doing the easy ones. Oh, wait a minute, was that the guy that slid off the runway? It wasn't a gear failure, was it a brake failure? Because I saw a video of a Citation sliding off the end of the runway. Oh, I saw a flare. Let's start slowing down here. Oh, and some tracers. Oh yeah, that was going viral there for a minute. I seen it. There they are down in that field. And more tracers ahead. Turn my door gun onto him. Shoot! That was an RPG. Tracer's coming from the front somewhere. Turn this way. See if my door gun will shoot at him. Oh boys, we're here! Well, we didn't VRS at first landing. That's a positive sign. What's up, fellas? What happened with the guy on the Airbus escape slide? Were they on a flight or something about to take off and they just pulled it before they made it to the runway or something? Why? The only thing I can think of is you're on drugs or having some sort of psychotic break or something, you know what I mean? Why pay for a flight ticket if you're going to basically cancel the flight that you're on and ban yourself from any federal airway again? Plus make about 250 people just hate you. Or however many people are on the airplane. Also that dude, what was that, in Vegas the other day where he got on the wingtip of an airplane? What the hell is wrong with people, dude? How did you even make it to the airport, onto the grounds? So A of all, this needs to shut up. I'm going to go down to 10 meters. And I'm looking for, I think that's us. There's a smoke column out here, which is where our camp is. Or the FOB, where I got to take these guys. I think that's us. I guess for an aviation nerd, it's kind of like, you know, it's like in the sexual predator thing on your permanent record where you go in like a child abduction database kind of thing. They're going to ban you from all airports and everything. It's got to be drugs though. I can't imagine what else would cause somebody to do that. How's the weather now up there? Clear up pretty good? That's the other thing I hate about snow, particularly when I lived in Korea. It was kind of like this. Down here it's too warm, but when it snows and it stays cold, the snow just stays on the ground and ends up getting all dirty and brown and gross looking. No thanks. Were you stuck at home? Do you drive or you have to walk out when you go somewhere? That's where we gotta go, that little park down there. It's another thing not very fond of, driving on snow and ice and stuff. Although I'm sure y'all have seen videos of what happens in Georgia when we get ice or anything. They had the whole apocalyptic meltdown in, what was that, 2014 or something? Where, it was 2016. Relatively recently. Now I need to land this thing in here. Oh, boys. Mind the lamps. That's something else that used to happen here. In the neighborhood that I lived at before, I guess it's because a lot of the infrastructure was pretty old, and every time the winds would blow, we have a lot of long pines, which have shallow roots. So those would fall over, and you'd lose power pretty much any time that there was a storm. That was annoying as shit. Here it's pretty stable. I think I've only lost power during a storm once here. That's the other thing that happens here. If the news comes on and they say, hey, we're going to have a snowstorm, everyone goes to the grocery store, and you go and it's like all the perishable stuff is taken. No one has any idea how to plan for emergency preparedness. They buy like milk and bread, stuff that's going to be gone in a couple of days. Taking off. Leave here with a tailwind. Fuck it. We're light. We don't have any weapons. You gotta drive pretty far for a supermarket. That's the other thing about kind of sucks since being back in the States is that when I lived in Korea, there's a grocery store everywhere. I mean, at least for produce and stuff, I could literally walk 2 blocks from my apartment in any direction and find a place that sells fresh fruit and vegetables. But now I gotta drive 3 miles just to find a decent grocery store. But at least we're not in New York. It's not like a situation where, like we're not gonna get a nor'easter down here that's gonna snow us into our homes for any period of time. Deserts. Well, I guess that's part of the problem, is I live in the suburbs, basically, of Atlanta, so it's the same situation. And it's a trade-off, too. Like, living downtown, I'm sure it's the same way in New York. Like, I mean, driving down there is a pain in the ass. And we don't really have the same kind of public transportation that New York does. You pretty much have to own a car, or you're relying on an awful, awful transportation system. Another smoke column, looking for some guys hanging out here somewhere. I think that is them. Yeah, they're standing in the park. Slow it down, bud. Also, what is it? Not Montreal. What's it in BC? Vancouver? I have a friend that lives there and always talking about how great it is living there. Oh, taking some hits. Taking some more hits. At least it's not an RPG. DJ, what, on Twitch? she just playing music from home, or is she like stream while she's doing gigs and stuff? Daddy's home. Jesus TV from home, yeah, for now. Get on board, y'all. I don't mind high speed. I listen to pretty much everything. Plus it helps, I guess, if the DJ's hot. I don't mind. We'll have a gander. The people like that too have such a it's such a benefit for them to be streaming on Twitch. You get an audience just by virtue of the fact that you're hot on here, you know what I mean? In Canada, you mean? This map in particular is really good for helicopters. Caucasus is nice, but it feels like there's a lot of places, particularly in the cities and stuff, where it's like that's just a perfect spot to land a helicopter, you know what I mean? They also put out a teaser now for some of the new clouds they're working on, so they're doing volumetric clouds just like 2020. So it'll be this scenery, but instead of having the normal stock TCS clouds, they're going to look like 2020. Super excited for that. Also, real excited for the longbow. I love flying helicopters, but that one has a pretty sweet bird. Also, the Mi-24, the Hind, is coming out soon. Can't say no to helicopters. I've said it a million times, obviously the F-14 is my favorite airplane and I love flying it in here, but flying helicopters is just such a different type of challenge, you know what I mean? That little shake where we're coming out of ETL. If you are descending more than 5 meters per second, you're going to have a bad time. F-198, what is that? Am I dumb? Oh, the F-18. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, the carrier landing's obviously the hard part of flying those things, but the F-18 in particular is pretty forgiving because it has fly-by-wire, you know, it basically translates everything that you're putting into it. Whoa, boy. On the left side of the HUD, there's a little instrument that has two arrows, one on the top and one on the bottom, and then there's a circle in the middle. Basically, you want that circle illuminated. Basically, it's telling you that you're on the angle of attack that you need to be to land for that particular weight. And then you just keep it on that circle, and then you use the little velocity vector on the HUD to aim where you want to land on the boat, and that's pretty much it. Just takes a little practice. Alright, looking for more smoke out here. That's where our boys are in the city somewhere. That's one way out there. That's where we're going. It is super satisfying when you do it, though. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the F-18 actually, I don't know, I guess they do launch in mil power, right? I think that's one of the things that the Navy wanted in later fighter jets, was to be able to launch at mil power so they weren't wasting all that fuel. I could be mistaken. I am not a Navy pilot. Speaking of pilots, the last couple days I've been using one of my friends as a guinea pig, this guy that I used to work with, like taking him flying to practice teaching how to fly, which has been pretty fun. If that's how it was in FSX, I'm guessing it's like that in real life, but I usually take off with the afterburners just because it looks and sounds badass. Guns tracking something. Shoot him. Space Force better. You know what? I'm excited to see what happens with that. I wish I was 10 years younger, man. To be able to, like, if you had a chance of joining Space Force, the possibility of being an astronaut, even if you're just like a crew chief on some sort of space shuttle type thing, holy, that would be freaking sweet. I get my pedals all confused because I've been flying the Huey so much. They're totally backwards in this thing. Alright, got some boys down here. I think that is them over by those cars. Not getting shot at yet, that's good. This thing has a terrible pension. When you do a J-hook, it gains a bunch of altitude. Are you talking about the Challenger, and what was the other one? Also, still not out of the weeds of that stuff. Look at what happened with, what's his name? SpaceX's launch the other day. They blew up a rocket they were testing. With the one that was supposed to go to Mars, they blew up testing the other day. Oh yeah, so it's Columbia and Challenger, right? Both of those blew up. Or am I getting the Challenger wrong? Hello. Oh shit, in front of us. Wait till he's dead. We got him. Oh shit, somebody's shooting at them too. It's a combat extraction, boys. I thought I was on the ground. Whoops. I was too young at the time to really appreciate that. What that happened is 1989 or something like that. '86. Yeah, I was like just a couple years old then. But I was in high school when September 11th happened, which I guess is a, comparable psychological thing to experience, you know what I mean? I think we got one more group of guys to pick up and we're done. Well, the thing with them was the heat shield, wasn't it? I don't know. They exploded on takeoff. It had something to do with one of the solid-state rocket boosters. If I remember correctly, one of them had like a bit of heat panel or heat shield or something that fell off and it damaged something else. That's right. When in down, it's always the O-rings. Yeah, that sounds right. Also, have you ever tried the space shuttle landing thing in X-Plane? It's pretty tricky. Was it top secret, or you just didn't ever tell you? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's hard. We'll get some tracers over there. Baltimore. Was it something like to do with the administrative stuff in Washington, D.C. maybe? Makes sense if he's living in Baltimore. I didn't know if there was any sort of operational stuff near Maryland. J-hook. See how aggressive I can do this. Depends, you never knew what he did. Probably be a sweet job. I have a friend whose husband has Q level security clearance, which I think is the highest level of security clearance for the Department of Energy. I'm not gonna say his name. He won't ever tell me anything that he does anyway, but he's got cool stories. Honestly, I mean, it sounds wild because of your imagination. If you meet somebody who's like, hey, I have Q level clearance, which is the highest level of security clearance there is, you automatically think they know shit about aliens, but it's probably pretty mundane because he does basically cybersecurity. He's working on his PhD in. I'm pretty sure. I could be mistaken. Something like that. I'm sure he knows interesting things. It's probably just not quite like what you would imagine it is. There's one more troop of guys to pick up somewhere to our south, that way. Let's go. See ya. I mean, even just for a lot of mundane details for Navy pilots and stuff like that. You have to have lower level security clearance and stuff just to be able to read in on information for mission briefings. Was Grumman nearby? Grumman has, I was thinking about this the other day, some of my favorite airplanes of all time. The F-6 Hellcat, the A-6 Intruder, the F-14 obviously. Also, didn't they do the Skyraider, the A-1? Was that Grumman? If I could have one module for DCS, like have them announce that they were making it, I think the A1 would be cool as shit. No, the A1 was the Skyraider, the Sandys. Remember, like during Vietnam, they were they're basically a Korean War prop airplane that had 1,500 horsepower. They used them for close air support during the Vietnam War as well, though. The Texan was the T6, right? Texan also pretty cool. There's a pretty decent module for that in X-Plane. I never had it, but I watched reviews of it. It's pretty expensive though. And boys around here somewhere. The A6 would be pretty cool. I know they're working on the A7, which is the A7's not Grumman, is it? The Corsair? I think those guys are right there down by that little wavy pathway, yeah. Stop it time. Let's go. Stop. J-hook. Oh yeah, dude, we got some skills, boy. Oh, that's right. The A7 was the Vought. Kind of excited about that, to be honest. Ooh, we got rotor clearance already. Where's my crew chief? I was watching a video yesterday. This guy, one of the former executives for Grumman, was giving a technical talk about the F-14 and the whole development process and stuff, and what they did at the factories to help make it, and how advanced it was at the time. It's pretty cool. Pretty nerdy, but he talked about inside the fuselage where the wings, the pivot axes were attached, there was a giant titanium box. And nothing like it had ever been built before. It was huge, but they had to use like electron welders to make it happen. Hell yes. Yeah, it's kind of a sad thing. What does Grumman do anymore? Are they probably just like a defense contractor that does data analysis and stuff now? That's sad. I don't either, but it sounds advanced, eh? Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that it's some sort of like systems analysis or data analysis for defense contracting. I don't know, I'll have to look. After I drop these guys off and fly, I'm gonna fly back to base. Let's see if I can do a hammerhead in this. This thing is not as forgiving as the Huey. Too heavy. Where's our park at? Lost, guys. Oh, I think that's us. At Grumman? I guess I'm not too surprised by that. Industrial chemicals and stuff like that. I know with the electron welder, they had to have the entire thing in a sealed vacuum room, because that thing probably puts out all sorts of stuff that's dangerous to breathe or be exposed to. I'm not too surprised by that. Yeah, it gives a little texture for your breakfast cereal or your oatmeal. Get a little crunch. A little burn. Bit of strontium action, hell yeah. Get them vitamins. Super cool. There's a place down here called Brookhaven. Not the same one. Brookhaven's where all the paunch rich people live down in Atlanta. I went to university down there. There's like this, my school was right at that area, and it's like, at that point, obviously it's the poorest you are in your entire life. Just driving some beat-up pickup truck, and it's like in the richest part of Atlanta. I did not fit down there at all. Yeah, basically. How'd you get a tour of that, the particle collider? Somebody that you knew, or was it something that they opened to the public? Once, dude, that'd be sweet if I owned my own citation. I think we're done. I think that's all the guys that had to get dropped off. It's pretty cool. It also carries a ton of ordnance. I don't think I can put it on now because you have to start with the side pylons, but I have them taken off for transport and stuff. I think its max load is something like 8,000, 10,000 pounds, which is pretty nuts. Alright, let's go see if we can hammerhead this thing at the airport. Yeah, was it Tesla? He was up in New Jersey, wasn't he? Somewhere in the Northeast. Where did he die? So I feel like it was Boston, somewhere in the Northeast somewhere. I don't remember. They get their radium cereal. Speaking of three-headed dog, one of the liveries for this, I think it's the Ukrainian one. On the top of it, where the engine, the air intakes are, it's painted like eyes. Didn't they go out of business though? That was pre-COVID, or did they? Are you talking about they closed down the physical stores because of coronavirus? So I thought, for whatever reason, I thought Toys R Us was bankrupt, which pissed me off too. As I'm a huge fan of Legos still, so I used to like going to see their collection. Even that stuff's really expensive. Let's see if we can get a hammerhead going. Star Wars, was it the one that was the Death Star? So I know that one of those guys was incredibly expensive. I mean, I could see a kit for like $100 and something bucks, but paying $700 for Legos ain't gonna do, buddy. Yeah, either yeah, I can't remember which one it is. Either the Death Star or the Star Destroyer. Those things both cost a shit ton of money. Do one more hammerhead. If I had just thousands of dollars to throw away, I would consider it, because that'd be pretty sweet. But they're overpriced in my opinion. The real question is, can we auto-rotate this thing? We might have to do that. $1,500 for a book on Bauhaus on eBay. What is wrong with people, man? Get this trimmed for a hover. We'll try an auto rotation. Pretty hovery. Alright, let's climb out this way. Let's go to 2,000 feet. Yeah, well, if you could go back in time and you knew that people would be buying for $1,500, that'd be an easy way to make tons of money, but you need a time machine. Because who at the time would have thought someone would be buying a shitty, non-signed book about Bauhaus for $1,500? Yeah, definitely. Although, to be real honest, I mean, you could pretty much sell anything that you want on eBay to somebody. Somebody's going to take it. Alright, here we go. Let's climb it up. Auto rotation time. Probably a little far from the runway for this. Yeah, I've got a ton of books here. Not looking forward to moving. That was one good thing. I got rid of most of my stuff when I went to Korea. When I came back, I literally had 2 suitcases and a guitar. Alright, here we go. Throttle 0. Collective. The good thing about this is, man, you got the wheels on it. It's like made for this. That was easy. Whoop. That was the easiest auto rotation I've ever done. Oh yeah. Like going power back so we can get the generators working. Kind of want to do it again. That was fun. That's what I'm talking about, man. Helicopters. Sweet. Where am I going? Just take it back off. Fly it over to where I'm going to park. Is it behind me? Yeah, it has wheel brakes on the main, but it's got on the back of the joystick, I don't know if you can see that, there's like a little silver lever that's the brake control. Did you actually go to a concert? Or get it, or you just bought it? 'Cause that's probably worth some money on eBay. If you had an original poster from like a concert or something like that, I bet you could sell that for some money. Oh shit, wrong button. Man, I was expecting to be all over the place in that thing. That wasn't too bad. It is. It feels a little weird flying it with an American livery, though. I know that the U.S. Air Force, possibly the Army, somebody has a couple of these things that they use for training purposes and stuff, or just familiarization with air crews or something. I don't know. Definitely seen them being used on Allied operations. Also makes me pretty excited for the Hind. That's going to be a good one. I'm actually going to go see if I can download... I don't know how that works with Steam. I know that if you have the DCS launcher, a lot of those things are free to play right now. Let me go see if I can get the P-47 and mess around with that. That would be sweet. You'd be surprised, man. When it has the pylons on the side, it can carry a ton of ordnance. Way more, because it carries like 8,000 to 10,000 pounds. It can carry so much more than the Huey does. Massive rocket pods, gun pods with 20 millimeter guns, 50 caliber, 30 caliber. It's nuts. Plus twin engine as opposed to the Huey. You get one of those shot out, you could probably still limp it back to base. This is the Mi-8. Which I think is called by NATO the Hip, which is why I put the title. She thick, she a chonk. Let me see what other liveries I got for US. Or that's one that has eyeballs on it. Search and rescue, there you go. Another rescue, seems more appropriate for it. Also, unlike the Huey, that's kind of cool too, the Marines one. Unlike the Huey, it has stability augmentation, so it's generally, with that on, it's pretty stable. It's not too bad. The only problem with it is that if you get into vortex ring state and you're at a low altitude, you're not going to have a good time. Transport, that's mostly how I use it. I think it's harder to use the aiming reticle in this than it is the Huey too. But it does carry way more ordnance. Anyway, Scott, thanks for hanging out, dude. Good talking to you. Glad that you're alive after your nor'easter. You didn't get snowed in or lose power or anything. I will definitely be back tomorrow. You got any plans for the holidays? What are you up to? It is, exactly. It's like the caravan. Actually, probably carries more than the caravan. I think it carries like 20 people.
Rearming complete.
Thanks, boys. Oh, you already got you ripped the Band-Aid off already. Alright, dude. Well, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Otherwise, if I don't, Merry Christmas, guys. The rest of y'all, take care. We love ya. See you next time. I'm going to go see if I can get the P-47. If I can, I'll probably stream that tomorrow. That'd be pretty fun. We'll see ya. Have a good one, man. Peace.